Gemma got a bun in the oven. Kevin is going to do what he got to do to keep LANEA at his house. And Trig is ready to move on with a new face. What's good, y'all? It's your good sister Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another The Shy video. In this video, we are breaking down season 5, episode number 4. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my The Shy videos. I am breaking down the entire season 5. I've also broken down previous seasons, so you can check out the Shy playlist to catch up on anything that you might have missed and keep it locked on all of my commentary regarding the series. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into episode number 4. This episode opened with a very interesting montage with all of the various women characters on screen, really setting the tone, I believe, for an episode that was going to detail the struggle within life for the women characters. And I really kind of enjoyed it. With this opening montage, we do get the reintroduction of Rosalind, who initially is causing problems because now all of a sudden, after she has helped Trig clear out a lot of the legal judicial things that he had going on in his background to clear the way for him to be able to pursue being an elected official, what she wants in exchange is to be the co-director of ROC and ultimately come aboard to help the nonprofit bring in additional money. But I also think she wants to do it so it can better position her and have her look a little bit better. Now, what's not really clear to me is like what position Rosalind holds in the city, right? Like, so when Douda left last season and was on the run, she kind of stepped in and assumed mayoral position, but they never really clarified what was going on with her after that. Like, once he returned and, you know, he does this whole, or I don't know if we have seen it happen yet, but this season he does an interview where he, you know, talks about his return, talks about how he had to get away and what he had to deal with and conquer on his own. It's not really clear of like who is the new mayor of the city. Is it Rosalind? Is it somebody else? Like, was she able to just assume power? I don't even feel like it works that way. But she reemerges in this episode, you know, sleeping with Tiara on the side, because we don't really get a ton of clarity on that, but Tiara's in her bed, or she's in Tiara's bed at the top of the episode. And then ultimately her major conflict is with Tracy, in that she wants to come and assume a position of power at ROC, which of course Tracy doesn't want to bring her in on, but she don't have no choice, because if she refuses, then basically Douda is going to fire her from her own organization that she started on behalf of her son. And I hate this for her. This is what I'm talking about when I say that I struggle with really registering Tracy and Douda as an actual couple. Because it's always some stuff. It's always something that comes with them, with him. Like, it's never just that he's him and she's her and they're living life and figuring out together. There's always some type of stipulation, some type of condition, something that she's going to have to get over or work through or deal with. Because he just comes with so much. And like, while I want you to get amazing penis, Tracy, great for you, honey, I don't know if it's worth it. But at this point, y'all so deep in, he's been funding it, as well as your little BS stepdaddy been funding it with their bullshit money. So you can't really disassociate ROC from them at this point. But I just hate this for her. Like, I hate her having to deal with Rosalind and to interact. I hate that Rosalind, like, is even in a position to be able to do anything. Like, they're still married. Rosalind and Douda are definitely still married. She holds position of power where she can pull strings whenever she likes. And it's just annoying. That's not like the huge thing of the episode, but it's very much so a valid plot point. I think what intrigued me the most is the storyline that's happening with Gemma. In this episode, she discovers that she's actually pregnant, and this, now that I go back and I think about it, this provides a little bit more clarity in reference to where we find her character this season, because I have been struggling with the idea that I feel like the Gemma character has completely changed over the course of the last season and a half. Like, when we were introduced to her, she was a very forward, progressive thinking, intelligent, super intellectual, grounded, but still open-minded young woman. who was very, very focused, and especially in most recent episodes, but specifically after making the choice to pursue Jake while she was still in a relationship with Kevin and all the drama that ensued from that. But that, and then also where we are currently, I just felt like I don't know who this girl is. Like, she is smoking weed before going to go take her SATs. She's walking out on her SATs. Like, she's in a car giving her father back talk about how this is no longer their dream school and they haven't been working towards X, Y, and Z that he's been working towards. And it's like, girl, you was all for this plan. Like, you have been, supported and empowered and cherished in a way that a lot of young Black girls don't get to experience from their father. So for her to have these very indifferent and borderline dismissive reactions and responses to all of her privilege and all of the amazing opportunities that she's been afforded, it just has not felt real to me for her as a character. And I haven't really felt like I've been able to trust the Gemma character, but now realizing that, okay, she's pregnant, I'm guessing that the creatives are going to try to attribute a lot of the change in her personality, the change in her perspective and drive for life to maybe a hormonal imbalance or basically hormonal shift that's tied to this pregnancy. And then ultimately the psychological effects of what it looks like to get pregnant as a teen in the circumstance that she's in. So I'm gonna go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that, because I've definitely been off of Gemma as a character. She's been less and less interesting to me, probably since the whole Jake, Kevin, and her love triangle drama situation. And it's in this episode that my interest is peaked again, because now it's like, girl, what you finna do? By the end of the episode, we see her getting in the car with Jake and telling Jake that they need to talk. So of course she's going to tell him what's going on. However, it's not necessarily clear of what her decision is going to be of how she's going to move forward now that she is pregnant. And we on the edge of our seats because we need to know. Now, who is by her side in this episode a lot is Maisha, as they are taking the SAT or the PSAT together. And she is the one who Gemma has a lot of the conversation around, like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to college anymore. Things have changed, plans have changed. And, Maisha's also communicating what her position is. While she would want to be a rapper, she does want to go to school and she wants to make her mom proud. She wants to be able to get out of her mom's house and do certain things, just tick things off the checklist of like good daughterdom. And I do think that it presents a really valid conversation that needs to be had. I just don't like where Gemma falls on the side of that discussion. But ultimately, like, as they spend the rest of the day together, Maisha winds up being the one there with her as she takes the pregnancy test. When she starts to get sick at Rock, which prompts them to get her to take a pregnancy test. And you get to see a little bond forming with them. Maisha performs in this episode, and Gemma offers to be her manager. So you can really see them starting to connect, and it's looking like a dynamic duo is forming, and I'm excited for them with that. I just would love for them to both know that they can do more things than one. So Gemma, you want to be Maisha's manager? Great. But you can also still go to school, honey, or you could go and do something else in the meantime. Like, you don't have to decide, I am going to be a music manager and that's it at age 15, and then don't pursue anything else, because all of the other life experiences, all the other lived experiences or academic experiences that you could also pursue will also help enrich you as a manager or enrich you in the music industry. The same thing for Maisha. Like, you can make music and go to school. You can make music and, pursue whatever other endeavor, that might be piquing your interest. Don't limit yourself, especially when you're so young. And I talked about the top of the episode really just started to set the tone for us to see that the women are going to be struggling in this episode, or us just basically having a theme of like women living their lives. LANEA is struggling with basically her brother being put to this murder trial and potentially never coming back for her, but then ultimately the state gets involved and like, okay, well, if he's not going to be able to have custody of you, then we need to put you back in foster care. So then that presents a problem, or not necessarily a problem, a conversation that needs to be had between Nina and Dre about keeping LANEA and fostering her, being her official foster parents, versus putting her back in the system. And of course, Kev is all on board for it and wants it to happen, but Nina's not too sure. And it's interesting to me because ultimately when we get to the nitty gritty of like why Nina's not too sure, it has nothing to do with LANEA and everything to do with Nina not being sure that her and Dre are going to make it, and she don't want to take another kid in and promise her that they'll be there for her, and she don't actually know if they're going to wind up being together. And I'm just like, is the therapy working or is it not? Nina, damn, like, girl, Dre has been by your side, has stuck it out, has done any and everything that there is to do within y'all's relationship, within y'all's marriage, to keep y'all going and strong. And while, you know, you can have certain doubts and everything, the doubt that y'all not gonna make it, that one was an interesting one to me. Now, while, you know, Dre doesn't take too much offense to it, I did, because I was just like, girl, you are the one who has been trying to ruin it for y'all. And even still, Dre won't let this whole thing die at all. Like, she's been there with you. She loves you deeply. And you know what? Even if that is the case, right now, y'all are great. Right now, you're fine. Right now, Kiesha's out of the house and, you know, she's in Kiesha's room and it's working well. And Kevin is doing really well with LANEA in the house. So, like, let's cut the bullshit. And ultimately they do, but that part of the conversation, it really just took me aback, because I was just like, damn, you really think that y'all not gonna make it and that's why you're gonna say no? Why wouldn't you make it? Are you still interested in things outside of y'all's marriage? Now, speaking about women in healthy relationships, let's talk about Jada and Darnell, who have made it official by this episode. And Darnell is seemingly very comfortable up in Jada's bed, and she's going to have to put that clank down, because he's talking about they don't need to go on dates and they don't need to do this and they don't need to do that. But he winds up getting his mind right very early on in the episode, where he's able to go shopping for her and take her out on a beautiful date, and he comes to realize, like, yes, he does have to continue to earn her and her love and all that she brings to the table. We love this for them. Like, this, I think, is the first episode that I'm really starting to buy into. Like, we're seeing Darnell and Emmett parallel. Like, whatever one is doing, the other is actually doing, and they're both on a very great trajectory forward through progression, out of their, like, fuckboydom, out of their bullshit from the past, out of the drama that they have created with their indecisiveness and their lack of loyalty within relationships, and ultimately lack of self-esteem. They both are just moving forward in a beautiful place. Now, while Emmett isn't actually in a relationship with Kiesha, that is coming, because they just give home vibes. They give safe with each other. They give support. He is able to support her as she's trying to get a paper done in this episode, and it's so beautiful to see. But again, going back to Darnell, I am feeling like I can trust Jada with Darnell now, because I do feel like him and Emmett are in the very exact same place in life, and they both want to do right. They both love these women very deeply. They will do anything for these women, and then they also can see themselves fully, see the mistakes that they've made in the past, and they don't ever want to go back down that road again, so they won't. And I love that for the two black women who they love on. We up, yes. Now, aside from that, we get a lot of beats for Victor in this episode. You know, he's going door to door and campaigning, trying to get people to come out to ward night so that he can express his platform, where his plans are, and running for city council and position himself as a elected political official within their community. We love that for him. We know that Tiara is right by his side, giving all types of perfect Stepford wife, political wife steez, playing her role, doing it very well. However, Fatima, the beautiful trans journalist, calls his bluff, you know, well, not necessarily his bluff, but like just makes a little note, points something out while he's talking. You know, he's talking at Trinity House, and she points out, like, wasn't Trinity House founded by a trans woman? And then that gives Victor a moment to be able to give Imani all of her flowers. And I'm like, okay, I think that this is the moment that I have been looking for in reference to watching Trig move on. I think watching him actually communicate how important Imani was to Trinity House, and never, you know, taking this away from her and making a note of her going back home and just speaking to it. That was the point that I think I needed to hear so that I could really register like, okay, he's ready to move forward and release. Because then when he's chit-chatting it up with Fatima and seems so sexually attracted to Fatima, it feels more real, it feels more grounded, and like, okay, he can move on because he's at a very healed and healthy place with Imani's decision, even though the decision was so sudden. And I know I mentioned in my last episode breakdown that I wasn't really too sure about Trig and how he was moving, given the fact that he was so deeply in love with Imani, and with her random disappearance, it just kind of felt like he moved forward without dealing with things. But for whatever reason, his conversation publicly about her in this episode really helped settle those thoughts for me. Now, I love Fatima questioning. I love Fatima being positioned as this potential new love interest, and she's also a trans woman, honey. So Trig definitely got a type. And you know who also noticed? Shad notices as well, and it's like, yo, how you gonna be pushing up on her when your girl was right here? And he's like, you know that that's for fake, like, let's not do it. And then I love it because Shad is literally like, yo, you can just love who you want to love. This is the very beginning. People were just getting to know you. There's plenty of gay, you know, politicians that are out and about now, like, let's be honest. And it is Trig who's like, nah, you know, Tierra's doing a really great job, people love me, we giving them what they want, I'm not going to come clean. And I'm just like, this was your opportunity, so now when this all blows up in your damn face because you want to lie, that's gonna be on you. Don't say that your best friend, your homeboy, did not try to warn you, because all you had to do was keep it a buck. You could keep it a buck, you could date Fatima, fall in love again, be truly happy, and go forward and deal with whatever you have to deal with, or deal with what comes with, you know, being openly out within the community, but then standing and running on who you truly are. Or you can do this lying bullshit and feel trapped into this cage that you're building for yourself, and ain't nobody gonna have sympathy for you when you crying about it. How about that? Yeah, y'all, and that is my thoughts, my breakdown for episode number 4 from season 5 of The Chi. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my The Chi breakdowns. I love talking about this series. I love watching this series, and I especially love talking about it with you, so I don't want you to miss it. Hit the subscribe button so that you don't. It's your good sis, you let us talk TV with. I'll see you in the next one.